This happened many times. One day I'm just sitting in my farm and I thought I sat there for about 25–30 minutes, but I have sat there for 13 days. By then a crowd has gathered, India being what it is.
What? 13 days? Welcome. Squat, squat, squat. That's what you need to prepare for another episode of Learn with us,
where we take YouTube videos that are worth your time and learn from them with you.
I'm Mitch.
And I'm Eli. Alright, today we're doing another subscriber recommendation, which is watching Sadhguru's Enlightenment story. Now, me personally, I've been watching Sadhguru for like 4 years now, so I've seen his Enlightenment story and I've heard it from a lot of different angles and stuff, but I don't think I've ever talked to you about it.
I have not heard anything about this.
So, we're gonna have one veteran and one noob, and it's gonna be cool because we'll get to see how we both kind of play off of what he's saying.
Yeah, alright.
So again, shout out to the subscribers who sent this. Much love. Post any sort of video down below that you would like us to react to learn about with you, and comment, like, subscribe. Much love. Let's get into it.
Oh, let's do it.
One afternoon, I just went and sat on a small hill, which was in a town where I grew up. Till that moment, I always thought, this is me and that's somebody else. I had no issue with that somebody else, but that is somebody, this is me. For the first time, I did not know which is me and which is not me. What was me was just spread all over the place. I thought this madness lasted for 5–10 minutes, but when I came back to my normal ways of being, 4.5 hours had passed. I'm sitting right there, fully conscious, eyes open. I sat there around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's 7:30 in the evening, sun has set, and I thought it's only 10 minutes, but 4.5 hours had passed.
Oh!
Oh my gosh, I love the way he says, like, before that day, I had no problems with that being that and this being me.
Yeah.
But then, all of a sudden, I was everywhere.
Dude! And that feeling of time just flying out the window, when you get so deep into that, that's one of the best feelings on the planet.
Yeah.
Is when you just have just the concept of time, and you just have that time where you can allow yourself to let 4 hours go by. But in that sort of way.
Yeah, and
so powerful.
I think another like really important thing about that is that when we're happy, time seems to pass quickly.
Yeah.
But I think the reason for that is the fact that you just aren't reflecting on time because you aren't in a place where you're like, I want this to be over.
Oh.
And when you're thinking like, I want this to be over, you're all of a sudden putting the end goal and the beginning goal. And that's where when you're like in a more blissful state, time is gonna distort and become something that's not regular.
Yeah.
Because it's all about your emotions on the inside. Which is also really interesting because I think that is a way of being rather than like a fact of life. Like, you can do the same task, you can do the dishes, and in one sense be like, I just want these dishes to be done, and be like projecting 10 minutes out when you can be done with them. Or you can sit there and really just become the process, feel the warm water on your hands, whatever. This is like a classic Buddhist example.
Yeah.
But then time seems to just go because all you're doing is you're just here.
The first time in my adult life, tears were flowing to a point where my shirt is completely wet. Me and tears were impossible, I'm like this. I've always been happy, that's never been an issue for me. I was successful with what I was doing, I was young and no problems. I was fine. But I'm bursting with another kind of ecstasy which is indescribable. Every cell in my body is just bursting with ecstasy. I had no words. When I shook my head and tried to ask my skeptical mind, okay, what's happening to me? The only thing that my mind could tell me was, maybe you're going off your rocker. I didn't care what it was, but I didn't want to lose it. because this is the most beautiful thing that I had ever touched, and I had never imagined that a human being could ever feel like this within himself.
That was interesting how he says, all I was thinking was, I don't want to lose this. Because I find that whenever I get into a more towards a state like he's describing,
Yeah.
every time I'm like, oh, I don't want to lose this, that's when it starts to just dissolve and like fade away in a negative way. Like it starts to, like, I can't really grasp it. It's like if I'm trying to grasp onto it, that's when it goes away. But if you just let it sit with you,
it's almost the same concept that we were just talking about with time, where when you're like, I don't want to lose this, then all of a sudden there's this thing you can lose, and then the time ticks down. But if you're just there and in that state, that stuff comes. But I love how he says, like, that I was bursting with I'm not sure if he said ecstasy in this one, but an ecstasy that he had never felt before. Crying, soaked his shirt in tears, even though he hadn't cried as a man. And it's like such relatable things, that just being able to let go on that level and not having that logical barrier that he talked about. Like he goes, then my logic tried to ask what's happening, and the only thing I can think is I'm going crazy. Because in our culture, it's not normal to feel so blissful.
Yes. I feel like I've had maybe one or two experiences that I can relate to him on this, of what he's saying, and it's almost just completely overwhelming. How much ecstasy you're feeling, and it's not this blind ecstasy like you're taking a drug. It's more like this, I am completely open to everything going on around me. And despite all of the bad things, there is so much more good. And you can recognize the life in everything. And there's actually no better feeling.
And I just lost the sense of time. The next time this happened was very significant because there were people around me. I went and sat with my family at the dinner table. I actually thought it's 2 minutes, but 7 hours had gone by. I'm sitting right there, fully alert, but I have no sense of time. This happened many times. One day I'm just sitting in my farm, and I thought I sat there for about 25–30 minutes, but I have sat there for 13 days. By then a crowd has gathered, India being what it is, the huge garden…
What? 13 days?
Yeah, you thought 7 hours with his family was a lot? This man entered a state, like, what?
Part of me is always like skeptical of that, just because of the like, you always hear that the human body needs certain things, like water. In, like, he would have needed to drink water, but I guess the concept is that you're in such a flow state that your whole metabolism is just like lowered so much.
I've definitely heard a lot of people in this type of thing talk about how your energy body is a microcosm of the macrocosm of the universe's energy body. And planets have an energy body as well. And pretty much those energies just flow at a slower pace as the things get larger and larger. And then as you expand your energy, it's because you're slowing down in a similar sense. So that maybe he's then, his whole system is slower.
Yeah, I feel most disconnected from everything when I'm moving at a really fast pace. Like if I'm driving all around places, or even if I'm not going necessarily places, but my mind's just like running, and I'm like walking around, not really thinking about how I'm walking, or just like speed walking places. All of that leads me always to feeling like I just have no clarity, nothing. I have nothing.
I feel like that's the same with our, like, the whole problem with cell phones and like social medias, is that all it does is put you into this pace of like rather than slow down, look around, breathe.
Seriously. But yeah, it's interesting that Western science would tell you, like, fact, you'll need water within 90 something hours.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's see what happened after he sat there for 13 days.
That's a bit of time.
And I actually thought it's only 25–30 minutes, but these people saying 13 days, he's sitting, he's in samadhi, he's this, that. I had not even heard these words. I grew up on, European philosophy, Camus, Kafka, Dostoevsky. You read that stuff in America? Huh? And being 60s, Beatles and this and that, I grew up like that. Me and spirituality are another world. There's no chance of me going there. So I had none of these vocabulary, samadhi, this, that stuff in me. People are saying, oh, he's in this kind of samadhi, he's in that kind of samadhi. You touch him, this will happen, and people are trying to grab me. So the only thing that I could do was leave that place and travel out, just to escape this, because I couldn't figure what's happening around me. Why I'm telling you this story is, this is possible for every human being. It's my wish and my blessing.
I think one of the coolest parts about what he was just saying, and this reminds me of something that happened with my dad recently, is he said that I was never open to spirituality. I was into Eastern, well, not Eastern, but European philosophy. I was into the more logical, cut type style where you're breaking everything up, philosophy, and wasn't open to spirituality. But he was experiencing it, and the experiencing it made him forced his hand almost to go, oh, geez, there's all this other stuff that's really powerful that I needed to. It's not like he was searching for enlightenment. Yeah, it seems like when he's like grown towards enlightenment, like because
which I think also proves the fact that enlightenment isn't about the books you read or the practices you do every day.
That can help.
The practices and stuff are obviously made by people who have gotten there. So then they're trying to make a path for it, which of course that helps. But that isn't the thing that gets you to enlightenment. It's the way you're being. And when you hear him describe his childhood where he spends hours just like looking at things, not knowing what they are, and just looking past all of the labels we put on stuff. It's that attitude towards life and that way of being that then leads you to this kind of experience.
What I was going to say with my dad was my dad's one of the most logical people I've ever met. He is so not down with like religion or spirituality or dealing with anything that isn't sort of based in this sort of logic that he has. But then he was telling me about this massively spiritual experience that he had recently. And it was just blowing me away because he's not looking for that. Like, on the contrary, he's avoiding anything like that. He's avoiding any sort of spiritual experience, but it still came to him. That's powerful. As if you're not even looking for something and you're just able to experience it, because there's a huge difference between cognitively knowing something and then experiencing it and feeling it and really knowing it in your whole body.
And I think that's why spirituality is so easy to deny until you have an experience
it. But then once you experience it, like Eckhart Tolle says, once you experience it, once you've started to become awakened, there literally is no going back. You cannot turn around.
You just get like sad. You just crumple up.
Exactly.
This must happen to you, whether you climb Mount Everest or not, whether you become the richest man on this planet or not. Your experience of life on this planet should be pleasant. You must live blissfully and glow. That must happen to every human being. Everybody deserves it and everybody is capable of it.
That's a really interesting concept, that everyone deserves it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh! That's something that I have kept. That's like a mantra type thing that I have been saying to myself for the last week. Is every time I pass someone and I see the life that they're living and the way that society has sort of warped what we think is important. Like I'll be driving, which first of all, not a big fan of driving.
It's true.
I'll be driving and I'll see everyone who's on the road heading to their morning commute.
Yeah.
And I'll say to everyone, you all deserve better.
Oh.
We all deserve better. I'll almost every time.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, almost
I like that
every
a lot.
time I pass through a toll and pay the toll.
Yeah.
Someone's just sitting in this little booth, just like taking money all day. I'll like say like a prayer for them. Like I'll be like, you deserve better. Like,
Nice,
when I'm
bro.
leaving. Because
Nice.
that's just what it feels like. Like that just hit me when he said that.
Yeah, that's
Like
sick.
we all deserve it.
Mm.
We all deserve it. And there are forces that try to twist that and tell you don't deserve it, or tell you what it is that will allow you to attain that joy and happiness. Whereas that's only something that you can find within yourself.
Yeah, like any force that is telling you to externally find that sort of stuff should be avoided.
Yes.
Like those are all going to be things that are bringing you away from where you can actually find the source of creation.
Yes.
And like the
which
source
is
of bliss.
within yourself. And then that allows you to know externally, because there is an external world, what is those things that like keep you connected, because you can only know that from within yourself.
Wowza.
By listening to yourself, you know?
Yeah. Dude, and then, see, and this is the thing where, with something like Sadhguru's experience, where he said he wasn't spiritual before experiencing this thing.
Yes.
That makes it seem like something larger is going on. And
Yeah.
I think that's where people get into the idea of, like, a god or gods that are, like, selecting people and showing them this thing and being like, this is like, and then the whole idea of a prophet comes along, of someone who is like channeling God.
Yeah, but I think it's harmful to look at those prophets as sort of deity type people,
Yep.
because like Sadhguru was just saying, that is within all of us.
This is one of the biggest differences I see in Sadhguru and other spiritual teachers.
Yeah.
Is that, sure, he'll say like, beings do have a karmic background, like an energetic background that will, if you have this large karmic ability, it will boost you. But that everyone can build that karma on their own way. And right when he was saying like everyone was telling him what he was going through, what he was experiencing, that he had to just get away.
Yeah.
Because he didn't think that what they were saying, he couldn't just take what they were saying and run with it. He wanted to figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
Which I think is the most genuine way to go through this type of thing, which leads me to a point I've been thinking about a lot recently, which is when you experience something spiritually,
Yeah.
you should hold it to yourself until it has fully, the knowledge has fully come into
Oh,
you.
yeah. I've had a few experiences where I experience something very spiritual and then talk about it too early.
Yes.
And I always get really anxious because I don't know exactly what to say because I haven't synthesized it.
Yes.
And it's never, ever, ever feels right.
And the power leaves the thing.
Yeah.
It feels like you get this, almost like you have this chip that like comes into you. Like lots of people say like downloading the cosmos, whatever.
Yeah.
I understand what they're saying because it feels like you get this like wave of intuition, this knowledge, but you can decide how quickly you pull that chip out, or if you first allow it to fully download and then pull it out. And speaking to someone else is like pulling that chip out and being like, look at what I found.
Yeah.
But then it's no longer connected to you.
Yeah.
So that's a huge thing, you guys. If you have like dreams that feel like super impactful, or just a vision that comes to you, just be thankful for it and know that it's there with you and it's there for you, and you should fully live that and then share it.
Yeah. Because then that's when you're at a point where you can almost help people with that experience. Whereas if you don't understand the experience yourself, then you won't be able to help people by describing it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good episode.
Great episode.
Ooh.
Thank you again to the subscribers who sent this.
Thank you.
Again, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you thought about his enlightenment story. Do you have any experiences that are similar?
Oh,
Unless you're still downloading the chip, then don't tell us.
Yeah, true.
Wait until you got the download.
Patience.
But yeah.
All right. let's go live. Let's go do stuff.
Much love.
Yeah, much love.